Have you ever wondered if someone really knew you, like also the worst parts of you, the darkest shadows of you, would they still love you? Edgar Allan Poe once wrote, "Tell me every terrible thing you ever did, and let me love you anyway." Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that the most beautiful quote ever? Isn't it real love? Isn't that how love should be? Unconditional and fully? Loving someone fully, not just for the best moments, but even when they're struggling, even when they have a bad day, even when they're imperfect or difficult to love, when they actually need to feel loved most. But do we really love like that? Do relationships work like that? In my opinion, most of us don't. And I also have to learn and to practice to really love unconditionally. Why is that? I think it's because we ourselves have never experienced unconditional love either. Plus, these days we are very conditioned from society, social media, and movies about how love should look like. So, most of us usually love selectively. We embrace the parts of someone that feel easy, effortlessly, and beautiful. Isn't it easy to love someone when they're in a good mood, when they are happy? But can we love them also when they're struggling, when they have a bad day? Or do we resist their parts, the parts that challenge us, that frustrate us, the parts that trigger us? The parts that are so hard to love. Today, I want to share a perspective that will change the way how you see love and relationships forever. It has changed my life, it has changed my relationships, not only the intimate one, but every single relationship. And it has changed so many other lives and relationships around me. I see this pattern over and over again in my own life and in so many people around me, so many relationships around us. We believe love means finding someone, the perfect one who makes us happy. But today, I want to challenge this. In my opinion, real love means choosing someone over and over and over again, even when it's hard to love them, especially when it's hard to love them. Because when we choose to be with someone, it's so easy to love the parts that are easy to love. But real connection, in my opinion, grows when we also hold space and embrace their parts that challenge us. Now, I always say to people, the person you choose isn't a buffet where you can just pick the parts you like and the other parts you just leave behind. When you choose a person, you choose the whole package. And that means you say yes to their strengths and their weaknesses, to their light and their shadows, to the beauty and the brokenness. Real connection isn't about selecting only the easy parts, it's about embracing them fully and also embracing their journey. And that means we cannot expect the other person to grow in the same stage or to be at the same stage of self development and growth as we are. Everyone heals, everyone grows, everyone is on their own journey, on their own timeline. But so often we expect them to be where we want them to be. We think they have to be like this and that, and they have to show up in that way. And now, to be clear here, when I say you have to choose someone over and over again, of course, you can also choose to say, okay, this is not the right person for me. And you need to choose to leave a relationship if it's abusive, if someone mistreats you. But if you choose someone, then you choose the whole package. And you can't just pick out the best parts of them. So, why? Do we struggle with that? Or why is this so hard? And why do most of us, me included, have such a different picture of love and seeing this beautiful movie or fairy tale in our head where the other person just makes us feel happy and love? Well, we struggle with that because we often haven't, or most of us, haven't experienced real unconditional love ourselves. That means we just don't know how to love unconditionally when we haven't experienced it as a child, especially ourselves. And many of us are driven by fear. So we act out of fear, for example, fear of rejection or fear of abandonment or even fear of making a mistake, fear of ruining our life, and we're acting out of fear instead of love. Plus, like I said before, it's so important to understand that the picture of love we have in our head is conditioned by society. Movies, social media, they all tell us love should be effortlessly. You meet the one, and then it will click, and then you will be happy, and they will always be in a good mood, and they will always bring you flower, and they will always be happy, and they will always be like you have the story in your head. But that's not how real love works. That's a fairy tale. And that's not being together with a human. That's being together with a picture you have in your head. But we all human. We all humans have weaknesses and strengths. We have light and we have shadows. So real love isn't about perfection. It isn't about finding the perfect one. It's about connection and it's about presence. Here is why, in my opinion, so many relationships fall apart. First, we fall in love with the potential of a person and not the person themselves, who we think they could be and we hope they will become. We focus on their best traits, convincing ourselves that the struggles don't matter, and then we are irritated when it turns out that they are human. And they also have shadows, and they also struggle, and they also have their baggage and their story and their history. And then we believe if they really loved us, they would change now for us. They would meet the picture we have of them in our head, and they would change how and when we want them to change. But as I said before, if you really want to love someone truly, fully, unconditionally, then you can't just pick and choose the best qualities out of them, the best parts out of them. You need to embrace them as a whole. And that means holding space for their triggers and their insecurities, for their quirks and their blind spots, for the parts of them that are still healing. And most importantly, loving them for who they are and where they are, not where we think they should be. People don't grow on our timelines. They have their own beautiful, unique pace of growth. So the question is, can we respect their uniqueness? Can we respect them as they are? Can we love them and embrace them as they are, the whole package they are? Now, let me ask you, would you like to be loved only when you are happy and in a good mood, when you are balanced? Or do you want to be loved also when you are messy, when you are vulnerable, when you're imperfect, when you're struggling, when you're about to grow but you're still stuck, when you just need the love most, but you're at the moment not able to show up happy? Isn't it when we need the love most? So true love isn't about finding perfection. It's about loving imperfectly. It's about loving the person in front of us as they are, embracing their wholeness. And as I said before, It's a choice. And love absolutely doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. That doesn't mean ignoring your own needs. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep your boundaries. But it does mean that love isn't always easy. Real love shows up when things are hard. It stays when excitement fades. It chooses the whole person and everything that comes with that person, and not just the feeling we expect them to provoke within us. It chooses them as they are. Okay, and now how does it work? How can we learn to love someone fully, unconditionally, without trying to change them or without losing ourselves on the way? And it all starts with acceptance. And I'm not talking about passive acceptance like, yeah, I will put up with this, that's okay, I'm fine. But conscious, loving acceptance. Try asking yourself, do I truly accept my partner, including the parts I struggle with, the parts they struggle with, the parts that might trigger me? And by the way, also, if someone or something is triggering you, that's a great opportunity to look inside and get rid of the explosive material that gets triggered. Another question to ask yourself: am I expecting them to grow on my timeline instead of their own? And am I showing up with love or with an agenda? Am I acting out of love or out of fear? Because real love isn't about saying, okay, I love you once you have changed. I love you once you match the picture I have from you in my head. Or I love you only when you're in a good mood. It's about saying, I love you as you are. And I believe in the person you are becoming. And of course, the same goes for self love because love includes you, of course, too. And I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if they never change? Or what if their struggles affect me negatively? Or what if loving them fully means abandoning myself? And here's what I have to say: acceptance doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment, as I said before. Loving someone doesn't mean abandoning your own needs. Choosing love doesn't mean staying where you are not meant to be. Choosing love means choosing love for yourself too. It means if a relationship is hurting you, choose to leave. But if you choose to stay with a person, that's what I'm talking about today, then you choose the whole person. And you cannot just cut out parts of them that are uncomfortable for you. Okay, so now a little recap about the perspective of love, my opinion about what true, real, unconditional love means. Love means loving someone fully. The other person is not a buffet. You don't get to pick and choose just the best parts out of them. You choose the whole package. Real love means loving the other person fully, their strengths and their struggles, their light and their shadows. People grow in their own timelines and not in our timeline when we think and how we think they should grow. And you can ask yourself this very important question: are you loving from your heart or are you loving from your expectations? Are you acting out of love or are you acting out of fear? I would love to hear from you. What is one thing you appreciate most about a person you truly love? And where do you want to give them more space to grow? Let me know in the comments. And if this video resonated with you, please like it and subscribe and share it with someone who might resonate with it, especially in these days when it's all about love, Valentine's Day. And remember, true love is never conditional. It's about choosing the other person fully, completely, and every single day, over and over and over again. It's about booking the whole package and not just picking the easy parts. I'm sending you so much love.